Hey, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to make a simplified version of this dragon head. One of the important principles in learning to draw is to make something simple first, instead of focusing on the details too early in the process. Once you have a simplified version that looks good, then you should focus on the details, allowing the simplified version to guide you in terms of where to put your details and at about what size they should be drawn. This video demonstration is designed for you to be able to follow along and draw with me. I'll draw it nice and slow with plenty of real-time explanations of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. You'll be able to keep up with me without any problems. Before you start, I'd recommend that you download this border template, which is available at the link in the video description below. Also, at the end, you'll be able to download the reference sheet for the details, which is found once again in the video description. So, if you're ready to have some fun, print out your border template, grab your pencil and your eraser, and let's make a simplified dragon head together. So here I am. I'm all set up. Got this rectangle here. I'm sure you've got your name on your paper. And then also you'll notice there's this little cross right there in the middle. I like to call that a reference point, and sometimes it's useful to use when you're making a drawing. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to start by drawing a circle that's going to represent my dragon's head. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some marks on my paper, which I want you to make also, to kind of tell you about how big we want that circle to be. Okay, here we go. Let's work together. So I'm going to come over here and look at my border here on the left, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, and what I'm going to do here is draw something really light, okay, a vertical line like this. It's about straight across from this reference point. And what I want you to do is judge how close I'm drawing this line to my border, and then I want you to sketch it in as well, like that. Okay, so I'm starting off with a vertical line. Now I want you to keep your drawing as light as you can, but you'll see occasionally I may draw in something a little bit darker so that you can see it a little bit better. So make sure you're doing that right at the beginning. Alright, let's put in another vertical line. So I'm going to come right over here and I'm going to look and I'm going to draw another one. But this vertical line is going to be a little bit further away from my border this time. So I'm going to say it's going to be something about like this. So I'm going to put it right there, as you can see. Now, I'm going to make that line just a little bit darker so you can see it, okay? And like I said, I'm trying to work nice and slow because I want you to keep up with me and I don't want you to get lost. Okay, so my circle is going to be this wide from here to here. Okay, now I'm going to draw in another line. This one's going to be horizontal. Now, I want you to look at this reference point, which is this cross right here, and I want you to kind of judge about how far away I'm making this horizontal line. I think about right there. Draw that in for me carefully and lightly. There you go. Okay, now I'm going to come down here, maybe a little further away, and I'm going to draw another horizontal line like this. Okay, we should be drawing this as light as we can. I'll make mine a little darker so you can see it. Okay, you see what I have here so far? I kind of have a square right here. And what I want to do is draw a circle that fits within this square, meaning that it's going to touch the four sides, here, 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 and here. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to sketch in the circle. Now, when I'm drawing a circle, usually I'm not very good at it. I usually make it kind of lopsided at first. That's okay. I'm just going to keep on sketching. Okay, so here I go, sketching in this circle. I usually don't like to erase if I make a mistake on my circle. I like to just keep kind of going around until it kind of becomes the right size. Now I'm going to go over this circle so it's a little bit darker so you can see it well, but I want you to keep your circle as light as you can. Now once again, that's a good lesson to learn when you're drawing, is to keep things nice and light. Okay, so that's my circle. Now that doesn't look very much like a dragon's head right now. That's okay. Remember, what I'm doing is making a simplified dragon. Okay, so there I am with my circle. Alright, let's move on. Now, looking at this reference point, which is this cross right here, I'm going to put kind of a slanted mark a little bit upward and to the right of it, about right here. And what I want to do is I'm going to draw a slanted type line like this that kind of goes down my circle to a spot about right there. Okay, now I'm going to darken that in. I don't want you to darken it in though, you keep yours nice and light. I just darkened it in so you can see it just a little bit better on this camera. Okay, now I'm ready for a little bit of a detail. I'm going to draw my dragon's eye. Now I'm going to draw my dragon's eye down here so it's cut in half by this slanted line. Okay, so I'm going to put my dragon's eye about right here. This will be the bottom half of it. It's kind of like a diamond type shape. Okay, so I'm going to go about like this. There's half of my eye. So you take a look at that, put yours in. And then I'm going to do about the same thing for the top of the eye, like this. So it's kind of a rounded diamond type shape. And once again, I'm making that dark so you can see it a little better, but I want you to keep your drawing nice and light. Okay, we got circle, slanted line, and eye. And I think I'm ready for some horns. Okay, for my dragon's horns, here's what I want you to do. Come up here to your upper left-hand corner. I want you to look at your border. I'm going to come in a little distance, which I want you to judge. And I'm going to put another vertical line about right here. Okay, now I'm making that a little darker so you can see it. Okay. Then I'm going to come down from my top border, maybe to a spot right here. I'm going to draw just a really short horizontal line like this. Okay. See how I made this little corner here? This is where I want the tip of my dragon's horn to land, right in that corner. Okay, now I'm going to leave that alone for a moment. Okay, then I'm going to come down here on my slanted line, and I'm going to come down about, this far, and I'm going to put a line that slants down just a little bit. Maybe about like that. Okay, now here's where the fun starts. I'm going to go ahead and draw from this spot right here up to this spot right here with a curving line, kind of like this motion here, for my dragon's horn. Okay, now I'm going to sketch this in lightly at first, then I'll make it a little darker so you can see it a little better. Okay, so here I go like this, sketching my dragon's horn. I want to get it curving, and I want it to land right in that corner, like that. Okay, now I'm going to draw over that just a little bit darker so you can see that. Okay, good. Now, my dragon's horn at the top tip is going to be a little bit rounded. So I'm going to put a little bit of a rounded tip like this. So it's not quite so sharp. Okay, that's going to be the tip of my horn. Okay, and the bottom of my horn, I'm going to do it right here. See my slanted line? I'm going to go to the right just a little bit, maybe about right there, and I'm going to put a little mark there. That little mark tells me where I want to start at the bottom of the horn. So I'm going to draw then a curving line from here to here. Okay, here I go. I'm going to sketch this in so it's a little bit thicker here at the bottom, and then as I go up, my horn is going to get a little bit skinnier, like that. Okay, that gives me a nice dragon horn. Drawing over that a little bit darker so you can see it real well. Okay, there's horn number 1. All right, let's do horn number 2. I'm going to take this line here and I'm going to continue it a little further across the top of my paper. Maybe that far. Okay, now I want you to judge this. I'm going to judge the distance from one horn tip to the other, and I'm going to guess that horn tip is going to be about, and I want you to judge this distance, maybe right there. Put a little darker mark there. Okay, that's where I want horn number 2 to end at the top. Okay, now where do I want it to start? Looking at my slanted line, come down a little further, and I'm going to start it a little bit lower than my first horn, right there. All right, now here I go. So what I want to do now is I'm going to draw a curving line from here up to here. Okay, and I'm going to sketch this nice and slow at first. Here I go. I don't want this to be straight. I want it to be kind of curvy. And up to that spot about right there. Now I'm going to draw over that a little bit darker for you. You can see where that is. Okay, let's do the other side now. Same thing at the tip. I want the horn tip to be a little bit rounded. So I'm going to just make it a little bit rounded right there. There's the tip of my horn. Okay. And then I want it to touch his head, meaning this circle, about right there. Okay, so I'll put another little mark right there. Okay, let's connect those with a curving line. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to draw this upward like this. Sketching. Curving line, about like that. Okay, now I'm going to go over that just a little bit darker. Once again, I'm trying to draw nice and slow. I don't want to lose you. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, now I need to move on to something that's a little bit harder, my dragon's snout. Okay, here I go now. Now what I'm going to do to help me do this is down here near my border, I'm going to draw a line, vertical line. Notice how close my vertical line is to my right border. Okay. The reason I'm drawing this line here is because that's where I want the nose of my dragon to hit. Okay. So now I know that. I'm going to go to my dragon's eye. Here's my dragon's eye right here. I'm going to go about straight across from the middle of the eye until I hit that circle, and I'll put a mark right here. Okay, that's the top of my dragon's snout. Okay, then I'm going to go like this. From my reference point, which is this cross, I'm going to draw a slanting line, really light, and I'll make it darker so you can see it. Down to the bottom of my circle. Where it touches right here, I'm going to put another mark. Okay, I'm ready to draw this. Alright, I'm going to draw it light at first, and hopefully not too fast. I'm going to slant down. I'm going to bump out, hit my mark right there. Then I'll stop just for a second. Make it a little darker so you can see it. Okay. This next line is kind of tricky. Draw it super light at the beginning. I'm going to curve over like this and curve down a little bit. See how light I have it at this moment? The reason I have it light is because I'm not sure that it's right. and so I want to keep it really light. Now as I look at that, I'm feeling a little better about it. I'm going to go ahead and draw over that so you can see it a little bit better. Curving, downward, and then connecting like that. Well, that's a hard shape, so take your time on it. Trying to work on it slow so I don't lose you. Okay. That may be the hardest shape of the day so far. Okay, it's got a nostril, and that's just a little circle. I'm going to put it about right here. Notice again what I do. I draw it so light you can barely see it at the beginning. Then I look at it again. Yeah, I like it. I go over that a little bit darker. That's a good thing to do. Draw it super light first, then you can make it a little darker when you're kind of sure. Okay, now let's put on some teeth, or I should say a shape for the teeth. Okay, here's the bottom of his nose down here. Then right here I'm going to draw a short slanting line. Okay. From my reference point, I'm going to draw another line that's not quite straight up and down. I'm going to draw it down like this until I hit the bottom of this snout, right there. You can see how I'm using this reference point to kind of help me draw. Okay, then right here, this is the important line. I'm going to come out and keep it short about right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw from here to here with a curving line, doing it super light at first. See how light I'm making this? And his teeth are going to fill up this shape. And I'll make that a little darker so you can see it. And when I'm darkening in my lines, you shouldn't be darkening in yours, but you should be looking at them to make sure the lines are correct, in the right spot. Okay, I think that looks pretty good so far. Alright, I thought that was kind of difficult. Let's do our dragon's jaw. Now the first thing I want to do with his jaw is this. I'm going to come down to my bottom border right here. I'm going to come up, and I want you to judge this distance. How far away am I making this mark here? Now, see, I've made a little mark here, but it's super light because I'm not sure about it. Okay, I'm feeling better. I'm going to draw it in a little darker now. Okay. That's how far down I want my dragon's jaw to go. Okay, let's do another line. Let's go back to my reference point, which is that cross right here on my paper. I'm going to draw another slanted line. See how light I do it at first? I'll make it a little darker, like that. Okay, where it touches my circle right here, this is where I want to start his jaw. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and draw that in. Now I'm going to draw it like this, and I'll draw it super light, so you just watch it for a second, then you can catch up with me. I'm going to make it curving. Now I'm going to go down, curving in a little bit, until I hit that mark there. Okay, I'll take a look at that line. Now I'm going to draw over it darker so you can see it, and allow you time to catch up with the line. Catch up with me. I don't want to lose you. Okay, good. Alright, now I'm going to go back over here to my dragon's, this tooth shape right here. I'm going to go to the left about that far. I'll put a little mark there. Okay. That's the other side of my dragon's jaw. I'm going to go back here to the bottom. I'm going to make the bottom of his jaw. Stop about there, and I'll make that a little darker. Okay, then I'm going to come down and curve and curve again, and connect it. Okay, now I'm going to go over that a little darker while you're catching up with me here. Notice the shape of his jaw. Okay, let's put on the inside of his mouth. Okay, let's do a couple marks. One about right here. Okay, I'm ready to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to draw another curving line super light. You can see how light I'm doing it right now. I'm going to make it curvy. Okay, now I'm going to draw over that a little darker now so you can see it better. And I'll stop when I get kind of close to the bottom. And that's really starting to look like a dragon now to me. Okay, let's draw the bottom of the inside of his mouth about right there. Got a little darker so you can see it. Okay, then I'm going to come up here to a spot about right there. And I'm just going to draw a curving line that basically follows the curve of this one. Kind of follows it like this. Okay, let me darken that in now so you can catch up to me. Okay, I think that's looking really good. All right, now hopefully at this point you can start to see that it looks like a dragon, but a simplified dragon. Okay, now let's put on our dragon's neck. All right, now I want you, let's look at his jaw, because part of his neck touches his jaw, and it touches about right here, and I'll put a little mark about right there for you to look at. Make that mark for me. Okay, and then I'm going to take this mark and I'm going to curve it downward until I hit my border. Okay, good. I'm going to keep on going down his jaw about this far. I'll put a little mark there for you again. And this one I want it to be curving, but basically going straight across, but just with a curve until I hit my border like that. Okay, good. All right, there's another piece of this neck I need to draw. Back to my reference point. I'm going to slant over. See how light I'm making that at first? Okay. Where it touches my circle right here, I'm just going to keep on drawing, make it a slanted line that goes down until I hit my border. Okay, coming down the home stretch. Here's my horn. Here's my circle. I'm going to go about this far from my horn, maybe about right there. And I'm going to put a little mark that goes up. Okay, I'm going to keep on going up about that far, right there. Then I'm going to take that and slant it downward, fairly straight line, right to my border. I'm going to go over that a little darker so you can see it. Okay, good. One more line. Come down his head, meaning the circle about right there. And I'm going to draw over towards my border with a curving line about like that. Okay, very good. So what we have now is a simplified dragon. And the purpose of drawing a simplified dragon is to show you where everything is on your dragon so that it's a lot easier to draw in your details. And that's a great lesson to have. Draw something simple first and then make it more complicated. So, Now you have a simplified version of a dragon's head, and I'm sure it looks good. It's accurate in terms of size and proportion, and now you're ready for the details. Use your simple shapes as a guide to help you know where to put the details and at about how big they should be drawn. As a reminder, the details reference sheet can be downloaded from the link found in the description of the video. Thanks again for stopping by, and don't forget to keep on drawing.